Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something vital for pretty much any organization out there. We're talking about understanding the key metrics, the measurements for privileged access management. PAM. This isn't just tech jargon. It's about securing your most critical digital stuff and, importantly, proving that your security actually works.
Yeah, and our source material for this is, well, it's basically a really solid list of KPIs, key performance indicators, built just for managing PAM. It breaks down each one, definition, targets, even how specific tools can help you hit those targets.
Yeah.
So our mission today, let's cut through the noise. We want to show you what these KPIs mean, why they matter, and how they signal a truly secure setup. Think of this as your shortcut to figuring out how to measure success with privileged access.
Exactly. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it's really about shifting gears, moving from these sort of abstract ideas about security to something concrete, measurable outcomes. So you can see not just, what you should be doing, but how to know if it's actually truly working. Okay, so where do we even start? I guess the most basic thing is just knowing what you have.
Spot on. You can't protect what you don't know about. So the first big one is privileged account coverage. It's simple, really. What percentage of your privileged accounts are actually discovered, managed, and secured by your PAM solution? And the target here, it's got to be 100%, no messing around.
100%. That sounds ambitious.
It is. But think about any unmanaged account is a blind spot, a huge vulnerability just sitting there. And what people often underestimate is how hard this is in today's world, with cloud, on-prem, legacy systems all mixed together. Our source mentions that good PAM tools automate this discovery and management. They give you reports so you can see, okay, are we really covering everything?
Right. So once you found everything, step one is done. Then what? Lock it down, I assume?
Precisely. Which brings us to password policy compliance. This is tracking the percentage of those accounts that actually follow your organization's password rules. Strong passwords, complex passwords, whatever your policy dictates.
And the target here is also 100%.
Yep, 100% again. Seems basic, right? Strong passwords.
Yeah.
But the real challenge, or insight, for many places is figuring out why there's non-compliance. Is it just users finding it annoying? Are the systems making it hard? Or do people just not get the risk? Good PAM solutions are key here because they enforce these policies and flag the non-compliant ones. Helps you pinpoint the real problem.
Okay, so strong passwords. What else?
Changing them regularly. That's password rotation frequency. Yeah. How often are privileged passwords actually rotated? Within a set time, say quarterly. The target should be at least every 60 to 90 days.
Why so often?
Well, think about it. If someone does manage to steal a password, regular rotation shrinks the time they have to use it, massively reduces their window of opportunity. And automation is key here. Otherwise, it just won't happen consistently. Plus, you need the logs for audits.
Okay, so it's like having a vault, knowing everything inside, putting a strong lock on each item, and then changing the combination on those locks really frequently.
That's a great analogy. Knowing what you have, securing it, and keeping that security fresh. And building on that, a really critical one is privileged account entitlements. This measures how many of those entitlements, basically. Who has access to what have been reviewed and updated recently? Target. Review 100% every quarter.
Quarterly. Wow. Why the constant review?
It's all about the principle of least privilege, making absolutely sure people and systems only have the minimum access they need to do their job, nothing more. It's so easy for permissions to creep up over time. Someone gets temporary access, it never gets revoked.
Yeah.
Suddenly you have way too much potential attack surface.
Right. Privilege creep. I've heard that term.
Exactly. So good PAM tools help manage these entitlements and can even flag when access looks excessive. Makes a really tough job manageable. And then rounding out this foundational piece, there is account lifecycle management. Are privileged accounts managed properly from the moment they're created through any changes right up until they're deleted? Target, again, 100%.
So getting rid of old accounts is just as important as creating new ones securely.
Absolutely. Those dormant, orphaned accounts. They're ticking time bombs. Attackers love finding them because nobody's watching them anymore. They might have been unused for years. Automation for provisioning and, crucially, deprovisioning is essential here. Keeps things cleaned, reduces manual work and risk.
Okay, so this first batch of KPIs, it's really about setting the baseline, isn't it? Defining what good looks like just for having and controlling these critical accounts, making sure everything's buttoned down from the start.
Precisely. It's the foundation. Without this, everything else is built on shaky ground.
All right, foundation laid. But security isn't just about static controls. It's about watching what happens after access is granted, right? Being vigilant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the next big area. How do you monitor things and react quickly if something fishy happens? This brings us to privileged session monitoring and its twin, privileged session recording coverage.
Okay, what's the difference there? Monitoring versus recording.
Good question. Monitoring is about observing active sessions, potentially in real time. Recording is capturing that entire session, like a video replay, and storing it. And for both, the target is 100%. You want to monitor and record every single privileged session.
Why both? Isn't watching enough?
Watching is great for immediate threats, but the recording gives you that undeniable, immutable audit trail. Think about investigating an incident after it happened. Being able to replay exactly what commands were typed, what screens were accessed. It's invaluable for forensics, for compliance, for proving what actually occurred, especially in regulated industries.
Got it. So, total visibility, live and recorded. What about speed? How quickly do you need to catch bad stuff?
Now we're talking speed. That's mean time to detect, or MTTD.
Yeah.
It's the average time it takes you to actually spot a security incident related to privileged access. And the target here is aggressive, within 30 minutes.
30 minutes, that sounds incredibly fast.
It is. But think about the impact. The faster you detect something, the less damage it can do. It stops a small issue blowing up into a massive breach. The source material points out that things like CM integration, security information and event management systems and anomaly detection are crucial for hitting that kind of speed.
Okay, so you detect it quickly. What's next? Putting out the fire.
Right. That's mean time to respond, MTTR. Average time to actually respond to the incident once detected, target, within 1 hour.
An hour from detection. So potentially just 90 minutes from the incident starting if you hit both targets.
Ideally, yes. Rapid response is everything for containment, stopping the spread. It's the difference between one compromised machine and your whole network being owned. Things like automated security workflows, integrating threat intelligence, these are what help make that rapid response possible. It's about having the plan and the tools ready to go instantly.
Wow. Okay, those numbers, 30 minutes, 1 hour, really drive home the urgency. In cybersecurity, minutes literally define the outcome, don't they? It's not just a target. It's about having cutting-edge capability.
Absolutely. It reflects the high-stakes nature of protecting privileged access.
So we've covered knowing what you have, controlling it, and watching it closely. But PAM isn't just about security in a vacuum, is it? It has to work for the business, for the users.
That's a crucial point. Security that grinds everything to a halt isn't really effective. So the next set of KPIs looks at efficiency and the human side of things. First up is access request approval rate. What percentage of requests for privileged access get approved or denied within a reasonable time? Target, 95% within 24 hours.
Why not 100% approval? And why the time frame?
Well, you need to deny inappropriate requests, obviously, but the time frame is key. You need security checks, sure, but you can't have people waiting days for access they need now. That creates bottlenecks, slows down projects, and honestly, it tempts users to find insecure shortcuts just to get their job done.
Ah, the dreaded workaround. Yeah, I can see that.
So efficient PM tools track these requests, manage the workflows, help meet those SLAs, service level agreements, and related to that is access request volume.
Okay, just the raw number of requests.
Yep. How many requests are coming in over, say, a month? And the interesting thing here is the target. Reduce the volume by maybe 20% in the next quarter.
Reduce it. Why would you want fewer requests?
Because a really high volume might actually signal inefficiency. Maybe access isn't granular enough, or there aren't good self-service options. People might be requesting access they don't strictly need just in case. Reducing the volume could mean you've improved self-service, maybe implemented more just-in-time access, or refined policies. It can actually mean better security and a smoother experience.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's about finding that balanced security that enables work rather than blocking it unnecessarily, making the process smooth without dropping your guard.
Exactly. And another one on the efficiency front is privileged account onboarding time. How long does it take on average to get a new privileged account set up and secured in the PAM system? Target. Within 24 hours.
And this matters because
business agility. If you're growing fast or have new projects spinning up, you can't have new systems or key people waiting around for days just to get the access they need. Delays there slow everything down. Again, automation and discovery and onboarding is the key to making this quick and painless.
right, getting people productive quickly but safely.
Precisely. And then maybe the most critical human factor, user adoption rate. What percentage of your users are actually using the PAM solution for their privileged access needs? Target. Aim for something like 90% within, say, 6 months of rollout.
90% adoption. That sounds like a big hurdle. Why is it so important?
Because even the most amazing, technically perfect PAM solution is worthless if people don't use it, if they find ways around it or ignore it.
Then all those security controls don't mean much.
Exactly. High adoption means the tool is actually working in practice. It's integrated into how people do their jobs. Getting there often means focusing on user experience, good training, making it easy, and clearly communicating why it's necessary. Overcoming that friction is key.
Yeah, that really underscores it. Even in deep tech like cybersecurity, you can't ignore the people using the tools. If it's too complex or annoying, they'll bypass it and poof, goes your security.
It's a constant balancing act. Security, usability, efficiency.
Okay, final piece of the puzzle then, compliance. How do you prove all this good work meets industry standards and regulations? Because that's not just a nice to have, it's often mandatory.
Absolutely critical. And it's not just about passing an audit once a year, it's about continuous assurance. So a direct measure is compliance violations. How many times does your PAM system detect and report an action that violates a specific compliance rule? The target here is naturally to reduce these. Maybe aim for a 50% reduction next quarter.
And these violations aren't just warnings, they could mean real trouble, right? Fines, legal issues.
Definitely. This KPI is a direct pulse check on how well you're sticking to the rules HEPA, PCI DSS, SOX, whatever applies to you. Minimizing these risks is huge. Good PAM solutions often have built-in reporting for these major frameworks, actively flagging potential issues.
So it helps you stay ahead of problems.
Ideally, yes. And that connects to compliance framework adherence. This is broader. What percentage of the relevant compliance frameworks like HEPA, PCI, NIST does your PAM setup actually adhere to? Target. 100% for all applicable ones.
So showing you meet all the required standards, not just bits and pieces.
Exactly. It shows a strategic, comprehensive approach. Your security isn't just random controls. It's mapped to recognize best practices and legal requirements. It's about moving from just scrambling before an audit to being always provably compliant.
Okay, that makes sense. It's the foundation for audits and good governance.
It really is.
Huh.
These KPIs provide that concrete evidence that regulators and auditors need to see. And that leads to the final one, audit and compliance reporting. How quickly and reliably can you generate the necessary audit and compliance reports from your PAM system? Target. Generate 100% of required reports within 24 hours of request.
So speed and availability of proof.
Precisely. Think about audit time. Instead of weeks spent manually pulling logs and data.
You just push a button.
Pretty much. Well, maybe a few buttons. But the point is, modern PAM solutions have powerful reporting engines. They generate these detailed audit logs and compliance reports, often in near real time. It transforms audits from this massive, painful ordeal into a much smoother, more transparent process.
Okay, so boiling it all down. This last set is about transparency, proof, accountability, having the receipts ready to show you're doing what you say you're doing, and meeting those external standards.
You've got it. Demonstrable security excellence, available on demand.
Wow. Okay, that was quite the journey through the world of PAM KPIs. We've gone from the absolute basics of just finding everything,
Coverage.
through locking it down, watching it closely, making it work efficiently for users.
Right. The monitoring, the response times, the user adoption.
All the way to proving compliance. It's really clear these aren't just abstract numbers. They're like the vital signs for your organization's security health.
That's a perfect way to put it. And understanding these gives you, the listener, a really clear roadmap. It shows you what success actually looks like in managing privileged access. It helps you cut through all the complexity and focus on what's genuinely going to make a difference, what's measurable.
So what does this all mean for you listening in?
Well, look, these KPIs give you a fantastic framework for measuring how well your PAM solution is performing technically and how well it's managing what's happening right now. But it does raise an interesting question, doesn't it? How might a truly, next-level organization evolve these? Could you develop KPIs that measure not just performance, but the proactive threat intelligence your PAM system is gathering, or even its ability to predict potential weak spots before they turn into actual incidents? That's maybe the next frontier.